Welcome to the Madison Miller Podcast Special Edition Show, my 2025-26 NBA season's predictions. I'm going to go through my predicted standings, 1 through 15 in each conference, and then I'll do some talking. All right, so my pick for the 1 seed in the Eastern Conference with the record of 57-25, the New York Knicks. I picked the Knicks as the 1 seed last year. That did not go well. Going back to the well here because they improved their big weakness from a year ago, which is their bench, which we'll get to. The great starting five, or that fifth spot being in and out between Mitchell Robinson and Josh Hart, depending on the matchup. You obviously have Jalen Brunson, OG Anunoby, Mikal Bridges, Karl Anthony Towns. They improved their bench with Jordan Clarkson coming in. They had Malcolm Brogdon, but he retired, but that's okay. Gershon Yabusele was an outstanding pickup for them. Miles McBride's going to be better. And Tyler Kolek they like. There's a lot of guys they like on this team. And Mike Brown comes in for Tom Thibodeau. But I think that Mike Brown has gotten raw deals everywhere. So this is a good chance for him to finally get back to the NBA Finals since he was there with LeBron back in 2007. Coming in second, I have the record of 56-26, ironically enough, Mike Brown's old team, the Cleveland Cavaliers. I think these two are head and shoulders above everybody else in the Eastern Conference. I mean, you could argue Cleveland won over the Knicks, but I picked the Knicks one because Cleveland has some injury issues to start the season, with Darius Garland being out to start, and I think that's going to cost him the 1 seed. So Donovan Mitchell, Evan Mobley, Jared Allen, and I think they did the right thing by keeping that group together rather than blowing it up and making trades. That was a weird playoff loss they had. And they had no choice but to keep that group together because of the circumstances in the Eastern Conference, which we'll get to. They add Lonzo Ball. They lose Ty Jerome. Larry Nance is back on this team. I don't love this bench, but it'll be better once Garland comes back and Strus comes back. But this is a good team, of course, and they're going to be right there for the title in the league this year. My number 3 seed with the record of 50-32, the Orlando Magic. A lot of people thought this was going to be a breakthrough team last year. I think this is the year this team breaks through. I know their over-under is like 50.5, 51.5. It's a slight under, but 50 wins is still a good accomplishment for this team. Paulo Banchero is one of the best players in the Eastern Conference. That group is still together, and they add Desmond Bane to go with Franz and Paulo and Wendell Carter Jr. Jonathan Isaac's still on the team. Tristan Da Silva, people like. Jace Richardson, people like. Jalen Suggs and Mo Wagner are hurt, which I think is going to hurt them early in the season. But once they come back, I think that they're going to go on a little bit of a run. In 4th place in the East, I have the record of 48-34. The Milwaukee Bucks. I'm higher on the Bucks than most this year. And Giannis is healthy as far as I'm concerned. Doc Rivers is a good regular season head coach as far as I'm concerned. You have Miles Turner, who they added. They added Cole Anthony. And Kyle Kuzma, I think, is going to be a little bit better. Gary Harris, I like. They had Jericho Sims from the Knicks. Bobby Portis is good. Kevin Porter, AJ Green's a good shooter. Gary Trent's on this team. So this is a good team. And I think that they have some wiggle room to go out and get someone in the trade. I thought about them for the 3 seed. But I think there's some injury risks and obviously a Giannis trade risk possibly. But I don't know if Giannis is actually going to be dealt this year or not. In 5th in the East, I have the record of 47-35. The Detroit Pistons, I think I'm higher on this team than most as well. But They're the 5 seed. That's because I'm higher on a little higher on Milwaukee than I am with them. So Cade is another year more mature after that playoff series against the Knicks. Oster Thompson, a lot of people like. They had Duncan Robinson that they lose. Probably Malik Beasley and Dennis Schroeder. Tobias Harris is still on the team. Jalen Duren, people like. Isaiah Stewart. Jaden Ivey's healthy. Or he's not healthy yet, but he's going to be back soon. Karis LeVert's on this team, but I'm not so sure about the fit here. JB Bickerstaff did a good job last year. 46 and 36, the Atlanta Hawks. I like this Hawks team a lot. I think they could be as high as third in the East as well. And I think 3 through 6 could be in any order, believe it or not, if things go right. And obviously the top 2 are ahead of them. So yeah, Trae Young contract year. They had Kristaps Porzingis, Zachary Ricochet. They want to leap from Jalen Johnson. Was in the most improved conversation last year, and then he got injured, and their season kind of fell apart. Dyson Daniels was a steal in that DeJounte Murray trade. Luke Kennard's a good player. Nickeil Alexander-Walker's a good guy for their bench, and Onyeka Okongwu still there. This is a really, dare I say, loaded team. And Quinn Snyder's a good offensive basketball coach. In 7th, I have the record of 43 and 39. The Philadelphia 76ers. I think the Sixers are going to be better a little bit than people think in a weaker East. With a right now healthy Joel Embiid as far as I'm concerned. I think this is a team that could start slow and it will turn it around kind of like the Bucks last year. Except I don't have Philly in the top 6. Paul George is going to miss the start of the season, so is Jared McCain. I think VJ Edgecombe is going to be an instant impact rookie, especially with him starting. Kelly Oubre's a good player. Tyrese Maxey's always been good. Kyle Lowry's still on the seat. Eric Gordon, Quentin Grimes. They have a good bench, too. Once these guys come back, this is not a bad team. Andre Drummond's not a bad backup for Embiid. So I think this team is kind of solid. And Nick Nurse coaching for his job. 8th with the record of 41 and 41, the Miami Heat. Heat culture. Listen, I just can't doubt an Eric Spoelstra team. I think they're going to be better. He's a fantastic coach. Bam Adebayo's still there. Andrew Wiggins replaces Jimmy Butler. And you can make a case Jimmy Butler that all the drama there kind of ruined their season last year. They're banking on Davion Mitchell to make a jump. They need a point guard. Terry Rozier stinks. Norman Powell's not bad. They picked him up from the Clippers. Nikola Jovic, a lot of people like Jaime Jaquez. And they're waiting on Tyler Herro to come back from injury. 9th with a record of 39 and 43, the Toronto Raptors. I want to go way lower on this team because it's a lot of misfit toys in my opinion on this roster. And they tanked at the end of last year. Darko Rajakovic is their coach. So they have a lot of former Knicks on this team, or some former Knicks, I should say. Emmanuel Quickley and R.J. Barrett. They got Brandon Ingram at the trade deadline last year. Scotty Barnes. People think he's a franchise guy. Not one of them. Jakob Bertel's on this team. Grady Dick, people like. Ochai Agbaji. And Garrett Temple. I mean, they have a good 8-man little rotation. But a couple bad teams got to take advantage of two traditionally good teams with star injuries. So, Toronto's one of them. And their Vegas over-under is 39.5, which was lunacy. I obviously went under, but barely under. And I literally can't stand this roster. This roster's built. They have a ton of high-paid guys, but they don't win. 10th place with the record of 38-44. My surprise team of the 2025-26 season in terms of who will make the play-in tournament. The Charlotte Hornets. I think the Charlotte team has a chance to be better than this. I think that they could sneak in the top 8. If something goes wrong with Philly or Miami, and if Boston and Indiana are as bad as I think they're going to be. But LaMelo Ball, Brendan Miller, and Miles Bridges are all really talented players. And Ikan Kneppel, good rookie. I think he'll have an impact on this team. Their bench isn't bad. Colin Sexton's a good 6th man of the year candidate. Then we have Josh Green and Grant Williams and Mason Plumlee's on the team. Like, this is not a awful team, and I think Charles Lee has a chance to be a very good NBA head coach. In 11th, I have, with the record of 36-46, the Chicago Bulls. The Bulls are always like in the high 30s, low 40s kind of mix. But their team isn't as good. They got rid of Lonzo Ball. Josh Giddey's a lot of Josh Giddey. Are we sure he's like a franchise kind of guy? Nikola Vucevic is probably going to get dealt. A lot of people like Matas Buzelis. Patrick Williams is still on this team. Kevin Huerter they picked up. And Billy Donovan's a good basketball coach, too. So he gets a lot out of these guys. This team's not good, but I think that the coach is going to get a lot out of this team, and they're going to try not to tank because the owner doesn't accept tanking. All right, in 12th place in the East side with the record of 34-48, the Boston Celtics. I think this team's going to be a disappointment this year without Jason Tatum, who I do not expect to see this season. If he's back, I'm going to have egg on my face. I know there's videos being posted, but the Celtics are a smart organization, and they'd be foolish to bring him back this year. Jaylen Brown is probably going to be among the best NBA scorers this year. Anthony Simons comes in. Derek White's still there, who I think could be traded. But yeah, this feels kind of rebuildy to me, and I wouldn't be shocked if they tank. Peyton Pritchard's a good player. But yeah, this team just isn't deep without Tatum. And listen, if Tatum didn't get hurt, one of Porzingis or Drew Holiday might still be there, but I think one of them's gone and the other's still there, but those guys are gone. Tatum's not playing this year, I don't think. So I just think that this team isn't going to be good, and I think that Joe Mazzulla will still be coaching them next year because they have that title to live off of, but I think the Celtics are a smart organization and know that this is not a contending year and this is a rebuilding year. And same for this next team, 13th, 32-50, the Indiana Pacers. I just think these two teams are going to be disappointing and stink because their star players aren't there this year. Yeah, we obviously won't see Halliburton this year. TJ McConnell's hurt also. Pascal Siakam's going to put up his stats. And I think that there's some breakout opportunities with guys like Aaron Nesmith and Obi Toppin, Ben Shepherd, Andrew Nembhard. Like, those guys are going to have some opportunity. And then Ben Mathurin, too, obviously. So, and Jarris Walker. So, there's a lot of, opportunity and development this year with this team. And I think they all know that. Rick Carlisle, Kevin Pritchard, and all of them know that. So, yeah. And I think they're going to try to trade TJ McConnell and maybe some of the other veterans. I mean, I don't think Siakam's going to go because I think they're going to try to contend next year, but someone like TJ McConnell could help a contender. Number 13 or 14 East, 22-60, the Washington Wizards. This team's pathetic. I think they're only going to be bad for one more year, then they'll make that leap, kind of like, I don't think they'll make it the trait level leap from like where they were to then, but like a poor man's version of that, maybe kind of like Portland last year, who ended up in the 30s for wins. I think that's them next year. I think they're a year away from that. But I think they're going to be trading a lot of veterans like Chris Middleton and CJ McCollum. And this is another kind of opportunity team. Alex Sarr, Trey Johnson, Corey Kispert, Cam Whitmore. I like. So yeah, this is another like rebuild. Try to get one more good lottery pick type of team. And 15th, 18 and 64, the Brooklyn Nets. This is the worst team in the NBA. They have way too many rookies. I can't name them all. And there's another team that's going to be trading guys. Cam Thomas, Michael Porter Jr., Nick Claxton are all going to be on other teams this year. At least two of them. But yeah, a lot of rookies on this team, and we'll see how this experiment plays out. And they have their pick, luckily enough. All right, now the Western Conference. My number 1 seed with a record of 64 and 18. The Oklahoma City Thunder. I think the Thunder are going to be the regular season machine that they were last season yet again. This team's loaded. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Alex Caruso, Isaiah Hartenstein, Chet Holmgren, Lou Dort as your starting 5, and Cason Wallace as your 6th man. And then you have the other Jalen Williams, and Osemi Ding is probably going to finally play a little bit. But the other, but the Jalen Williams that usually starts for them is injured, so we'll see when he comes back. With the wrist injury, and then we'll see when he comes back. But yeah, this team's a juggernaut again. All right, your 2 seed with the record of 58 and 24, the Denver Nuggets. I love this Denver team. I think they're loaded and rock and rolling, ready to go. Nikola Jokic is going to be right there for MVP. Cam Johnson they get from Brooklyn, replacing Michael Porter Jr., Aaron Gordon, Christian Braun, Jamal Murray. And then Bruce Brown off the bench, Hardaway, and then Jonas Valanciunas is now on this team. As Jokic finally has a reliable backup. A lot of young guys they want to rely on, like Peyton Watson, Julian Strawther, Jalen Pickett. So this team, like I said, loaded. And a full year with the new coach, David Adelman. Coming in third in the West, I have with the record of 55 and 27, the Minnesota Timberwolves. I think this team is being slept on in the West. I don't know why people don't think they're in the top 3. I think it's almost a no-brainer that they're a top 3 team in the West. Of course, Anthony Edwards, top 10 player in the league. Julius Randle, Rudy Gobert, Jaden McDaniels. Mike Conley, is this the year he finally dips? I mean, maybe that's the question. Rob Dillingham. They traded up for this guy. He's got to play. Dante DiVincenzo off the bench. Naz Reid's back, who nobody thought they'd get back. Bones Highland's on the team. Joe Ingles, good bench guy. Coming in fourth, I have with the record of 50 and 32, the Houston Rockets. This Rockets team saw a lot of change in the offseason. Kevin Durant's there now. I don't understand why they're playing him at the 2 guard. He's not a 2 guard. He's a power forward. I just don't like how their starting five shakes out. And I think they did it this way because of the unfortunate injury to Fred VanVleet. I would honestly go Sengun at center, Jabari and KD at the forward spots, and Ben Thompson. And why not try out Reed Shepherd at point guard? Why not? You took him the third overall in the draft, and you're burying him on your bench. But yeah, Steven Adams should not be starting for them. I know Ime Udoka likes to do the two big lineup, but I don't love it. But this is going to be a good team now that the last maybe they'll upgrade a point guard in VanVleet's absence. And if Finney Smith's hurt too. And Clint Capella's on this team too. And Tari Easton's is a good player off the bench. In fifth, I have the record of 48-34, the Los Angeles Clippers. The Clippers were good last year. They were good. And I think they're going to be good again. Ty Lue's back. Jeff Van Gundy's still on the staff. Kawhi, James Harden. I know the Kawhi saga is a big deal. And he could get in trouble, and that's the only issue with this. Thinking that they're going to be good. Bradley Beal's on this team now. John Collins. Zubac is still there. Bogdan Bogdanovic is a good shooter. Nick Batum, Brook Lopez. This is a good team. They could finish third or fourth in the West if things broke right. More realistically fourth because I'm big on the Timberwolves. But this is a good team. Coming in sixth, I have the record of 48-34. The Golden State Warriors. I like this Warriors team a lot. More that I look at it, I do think eventually they'll trade Jonathan Kuminga. And it could be somebody that could help him. Obviously, Stephen Curry, as far as we know, he's healthy. Jimmy Butler's there the whole season. Draymond's still there. Al Horford's a good pickup. Braden Podzinski, they want more out of him. Gary Payton's still there, but he healed. Trace Jackson Davis, I really like. And I think he could have gotten a chance to start for them if they didn't sign Al Horford. I know there's some drama right now with Steve Kerr and his future, but this team will not go down without a fight. They won a bunch of titles, and you know they're going to be playing with pride all year. In seventh, I have the record of 44-38, the Los Angeles Lakers. The Lakers, I would have had higher if LeBron didn't miss the start of the season. I think that could cause a slow start. And I think him and Doncic can both be load management guys this year. They still have a lot of the same cast of characters as last year, except they added DeAndre Ayton and Jake LaRavia. And Marcus Smart. Yeah, like Gabe Vincent, Austin Reeves, obviously. Dalton Knecht, Jared Vanderbilt, who they got in that trade from Utah. Maxi Kleber, who also came over in the Luka trade. Jackson Hayes. And J.J. Redick got a big contract extension in the offseason, which made people like the Ringers, Bill Simmons, think like, oh, I think the Lakers secretly know this is a transition year, and they don't think they're going to be good kind of thing. Which is true. I mean, I could see that, but I don't think this team is going to be bad. That's my point. Like, Luka and LeBron are there, and I don't think this team wants to be bad. This is the Lakers. In eighth, I have the record of 42-40, the Dallas Mavericks. I have the Dallas Mavericks in the top 8 in the West. I think with Cooper Flagg to this group, this team's actually going to be pretty good. And D'Angelo Russell, as we know, is a first half of the season kind of guy. Klay Thompson, year 2 with Dallas. Anthony Davis is going to be on and off, as we know. Good big man rotation with Derek Lively, Daniel Gafford, PJ Washington. And Dwight Powell they like, too. Caleb Martin's on the team. Najee Marshall. They're deep. And they get Max Christie the trade. But obviously, Kyrie's going to be out 2/3 of the season. So it's going to be interesting to see when he comes back. And Jason Kidd is a good coach. And there are a lot of rumors in the summer that he was going to be leaving for the Knicks. But Jason didn't want to go there. In ninth, I have the record of 42-40, the San Antonio Spurs. This Spurs team, I think, is going to be one of the more improved teams in the NBA, courtesy of the man, the myth, the legend. He's going to be the best player in the NBA 2 years from now, Victor Wembanyama. Already the best defensive big man in the league. He can do everything. I know Popovich isn't there anymore. Mitch Johnson's taking over. But Mitch Johnson is learned from Popovich. Popovich is still the basketball president of basketball operations. As far as I'm concerned, he's still involved, Greg Popovich. But he's not the coach anymore. But then again, if Mitch Johnson does a bad job and they underachieve, could you see him come out of the retirement? Doing the Pat Riley? That would probably be one of the most fun things that happens if that happens. I mean, I could see it. Because I think the Spurs think they're top 6 good, which I don't think they're top 6 good. I think both LA teams and Golden State are better than the Spurs right now. Because I think those teams are deeper than the Spurs. But I do think this is a play-in team for sure. Stephon Castle, I like. Devin Vassell. Harrison Barnes is still on this team. He's probably going to be traded or buyout. Dylan Harper should be starting for them. Keldon Johnson's good. Kelly Olynyk and Luke Cornett are good backup bigs. Yeah, I'm excited for this team. 10th with a record of 39-43. The Memphis Grizzlies. I still think Memphis is going to be... They're not awful without Desmond Bane. I just think that's a weird trade. And I just don't think this team is top 6. If they had him, they're top 6. They're ahead of Golden State. But they don't have him. He's in Orlando now, and he made them a top 3 in the East. For this year. But yeah, obviously Ja and JJ are still there. Kentavious Caldwell-Pope they get in the trade. Maybe he's rejuvenated. Maybe he's a guy that they trade if they're bad. Jacqueline Dale's their starting center right now. That's because Zach Edey's hurt, which is a problem. So he was good for them last year. I like Gigi Jackson. John Conchar I like. Vince Williams has potential, but this is not a terrible roster. Oh, and Scottie Pippen Jr. is hurt, and Brandon Clark. They have a lot of injuries. And Ty Jerome. They have 4 key guys that are injured. I'm mad at myself for not picking a lower total for them. But the reason why I think 39 makes sense is because of Ja and because of JJJ. And oh yeah, they have a new coach as well. Tomas Asalo. Number 11 with the record of 33-49, the Portland Trailblazers. Portland, I think people think are going to be a little better, but I'm not so sure. Scoot Henderson is not starting the season. He's injured. Dame's back on his old team, but he's not going to be playing again until next year unless they move him somewhere else. I do like Donovan Clingan. I think he could be a good pro. Denny Avdija was a good pickup by them. Jeremy Grant's going to be traded. Drew Holiday's probably going to be traded again. Robert Williams, maybe Trey Young, Hanson, a lot of people like. Chris Murray's on this team. Shaden Sharp's coming off the bench for some reason. So is Matisse Thybulle. Wait, they have a lot of guys that I think they could trade. But they won't trade Denny, I don't think. In 12th in the West, I have the record of 32-50. The New Orleans Pelicans. I just think this team's a cluster, you know what. DeJounte Murray's not going to start the season with them. He's hurt. So is Kevon Looney. Obviously, Zion's still there. Jordan Poole's there now. Trey Murphy got paid. Herb Jones is still there. I do like guys on their bench. Sadiq Bey, Jordan Hawkins, Jose Alvarado. And Derek Queen's the guy they traded up for in the draft. Yves Misi they like as well. But I do think there's some trade bait guys on this team. I wouldn't be surprised if Murphy's traded or Herb Jones or Jose Alvarado. If things got really bad, I could see like a Zion thing. 13th in the West with a record of 27-55, the Phoenix Suns. I like this Phoenix team a little more than some others, but they're just in a bad conference. In a loaded conference. Or in a rough conference. In the fact that I don't think that they are going to be good is because someone has to be bad in the West. And I think it's them. They lose Durant. They get Jalen Green, who is hurt to start the season. That's why my win total is a little low for them. Devin Booker, of course, is there. Grayson Allen, Dylan Brooks, I think, could be a trade candidate. Mark Williams is their starting center. Nick Richards is on this team. Royce O'Neal, Kaman Wallach, and they have a new coach in Jordan Ott. In 14th, I have the record of 23-59, the Sacramento Kings. This team's a disaster. They signed Russell Westbrook thinking he's still a competent NBA player. Not on this team. Maybe on like the Bucks. He would have been good on the Bucks. He would have been good, dare I say, on the Knicks. He would have been good on a couple teams that are contenders. Philly, although maybe not, because I think he would have been good on Miami. He would have been an upgrade over what they have there, but he's just not a good fit in Sacramento. And Domantas Sabonis and Keegan Murray are hurt right now. Malik Monk is still there. I think he could be trade bait. So could DeMar DeRozan, Zach LaVine, for some reasons on this team, Dennis Schroeder. But yeah, this is a mismatched clusterfuck team. And poor Doug Christie, who came in and replaced Mike Brown, who probably they should have never fired. That was a panic move by them, and they fell apart after he got fired. It was kind of like what happened with the Jets with Robert Saleh, except Robert Saleh wasn't even a good coach. That's the only thing. The only difference there. And I think Rodgers kind of fired him rather than anything, and we all know what happened there. So this is kind of like the Jets a little bit from a situational standpoint, except they actually have some talent. I mean, the Jets do too, but like from a dysfunction standpoint, this is kind of like the Jets. And 15th with the record of 18-64, the Utah Jazz. This team's going to be awful. Them and Brooklyn are the two worst teams. I think they're a little bit better than Brooklyn because Larry Markkanen's still on the team, who, by the way, is probably going to be traded this year. Walker Kessler's still on this team. Yusuf Nurkic, I think, will be bought out or traded. Keontae George, Isaiah Collier, Ace Bailey, a lot of people like. So that's kind of like a highlight for them. Gorgas Niang, I think, will be dealt, but he's hurt right now. Kevin Love's on this team. Probably a bio guy or dealt. Same with Kyle Anderson. This team is, with the veterans, is built to ship off. And the coach, for some reason, is still there. Will Hardy. I mean, if I'm Will Hardy, you're there because not only, I mean, he's a good coach, but Utah knows it's bad, but they just found a good coach. That's all. It's kind of like Jordy Fernandez with Brooklyn. That's the the irony with those two bad teams. They have good coaches, but they just have bad teams. Okay, the playoffs. We'll start with the play-in. So we have the Eastern Conference 7 seed Philadelphia 76ers hosting the Eastern Conference 8 seed Miami Heat. Best player on the court, if healthy, Joel Embiid, which let's assume he is. So we're going to put Philly ahead of Miami. All right, your 9 seed Toronto Raptors against the 10 seed Charlotte Hornets. From Toronto, best guy on the court might be Brandon Miller. And I think Charlotte's going to surprise people and beat Toronto in Toronto. And then 8 seed Miami Heat hosts the 10 seed Charlotte Hornets. This is where Heat culture comes to town. Andrew Wiggins hits some threes, and Bam's the best guy on the court. So Miami Heat over Charlotte Hornets. Western Conference. 7 seed Los Angeles Lakers host the 8 seed Dallas Mavericks. It's Luka against his old team. Cooper Flag. Anthony Davis back in Los Angeles. A lot of storylines galore here. Jason Kidd was on the Lakers staff. Storylines here are fantastic, so I hope we see this in the postseason. But I would say the Lakers win because they have Luka and Dallas does not. And the Lakers are going to remind them why Dallas still has to trade despite getting Cooper. All right, so 9 seed San Antonio Spurs host the 10 seed Memphis Grizzlies. Best guy on the court. It's not John Morant. It's the one and only Victor Wembanyama. And I think this is a coming out party for him. He'll destroy JJJ. And I think that maybe there'll be another good player on this team that'll help him. So, the Spurs over the Grizz. All right, and then the 8 seed Dallas Mavericks host the 9 seed San Antonio Spurs. Great game. 2 Texas teams. You have Jason Kidd against Mitch Johnson. I know Dallas would have the coaching advantage, but again, who's the best guy on the court? That Wembanyama guy. People will be like, oh yeah, that guy's never healthy. Guess who else is never healthy? Anthony Davis and Kyrie Irving. In this Mavericks team that thinks that they're a finals contender with big names that were stars 10 years ago. With those two and Klay Thompson. So, I'm going to go with the upset here and pick the Spurs to be in the top 8. Or not the top 8, but in the playoffs over the Mavs. All right, first round of the playoffs, Eastern Conference. 1 seed New York Knicks against the 8 seed Miami Heat. Playoff rematch from a couple years ago. Miami's obviously worse without Jimmy Butler. So I'm going to go Knicks over the Heat in 5. All right, 2 seed Cleveland Cavaliers against the 7 seed Philadelphia 76ers. This would have been a better series in theory last year or the year before even. But Cleveland, I think, is a lot better than Philly this time around. And their bench is going to be healthier by then. So, Cavs over Sixers in 5. 3 seed Orlando Magic against 6 seed Atlanta Hawks. I think this is a fantastic series between these two division teams. And I believe that this is another best guy on the court ruse again. So I'm going to go with the Paulo Banchero, and I think this is a classic 7-gamer, so Orlando over Atlanta in 7. All right, your 4 seed Milwaukee Bucks against the 5 seed Detroit Pistons. Detroit, I don't think is going to be any further than last year. Best guy in the series is Giannis. So, Bucks over the Pistons in 6. I'm going to rapid fire this now because of time. Western Conference, 1 seed Oklahoma City Thunder against the 9 seed San Antonio Spurs. This is a sweep. Learning experience for the Spurs. Thunder over San Antonio in 4. 2 seed Denver Nuggets against the 7 seed Los Angeles Lakers. I'm going Denver in 6 over the Lakers. Better team, better bench, better everything. And, of course, Jokic. 3 seed Minnesota Timberwolves against the 6 seed Golden State Warriors. I think this is a competitive series. I'm going to say Minnesota in 6. 4 seed Houston Rockets against the 5 seed Los Angeles Clippers. This is your annual James Harden stinks up the joint in the playoffs against his old team, the Rockets. Someone got the Rockets over the Clippers in 7. All right, the semifinals East. 1 seed New York Knicks against the 6 seed Milwaukee Bucks. Best guy in the series is Giannis, but Knicks will get it done in 6 over the Bucks because they're deeper. 2 seed Cleveland Cavaliers against the 3 seed Orlando Magic. Best guy in the series could very well be Paolo, but I'd still say it's Donovan Mitchell. I just don't think Orlando is deep enough, and I think this is a smash series for Cleveland, so I would say Cavs in 5. In the West, 1 seed Oklahoma City Thunder against the 4 seed Houston Rockets. Now Durant against his old team, but the Thunder get it done in 6. 2 seed Denver Nuggets against the 3 seed Minnesota Timberwolves. I think this is another absolute classic of a series. 7-gamer, Nuggets get it. Conference Finals. 1 seed New York Knicks against the 2 seed Cleveland Cavaliers. It's the Eastern Conference Finals that everyone is having penciled in. If this isn't the Eastern Conference Finals, then something terrible has to have happened to one of these teams, or Jason Tatum magically comes back. Home court advantage ruse here. Best guy in the series is Brunson. Knicks over the Cavs in 7 as they finally go to the NBA Finals for the first time since 1999. And then your 2 seed Denver Nuggets against the 1 seed Oklahoma City Thunder. Best guy in the series is Jokic, and I think they get it done over the Thunder in 6 in a series that they could have beat the Thunder in last year. And in the NBA Finals, you have the East 1 seed New York Knicks against the West 2 seed Denver Nuggets. Great series. It's going to come down to who has the best guy in the series, and that's Denver at Jokic. So I'm going to say the Denver Nuggets with home court advantage in this series over the New York Knicks in 7 games. All right, awards real quick. MVP, I have Nikola Jokic. Runner-up, Giannis Antetokounmpo. Defensive Player of the Year, Victor Wembanyama. Runner-up, Mitchell Robinson. Rookie of the Year, Cooper Flagg. Runner-up, VJ Edgecombe. Sixth Man of the Year, Colin Sexton. Runner-up, Luke Kennard. Most Improved Player, Brandon Miller. Runner-up, Jaden Ivey. Coach of the Year, Mike Brown. Runner-up, Charles Lee. Executive of the Year, Leon Rose. Runner-up, Ben Tenzer. Clutch Player of the Year, I almost said Comeback Player of the Year. Clutch Player of the Year, Jalen Brunson. Runner-up, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Okay, 5 bold predictions before we go. We didn't even get to bets yet, but we'll do that in the last segment. All right, 5 bold predictions. Number 1, I don't think we'll see Jason Tatum this year. I've hinted at it all show. And I don't think them or Indiana make even the play-in. Number 2, Doug Chrisley will be 1.5 and done in Sacramento. I think this is like an Antonio Pierce Raiders kind of situation. It's just a freaking mess there. Prediction number 3, this is an obvious one. Giannis Antetokounmpo will not be traded. I'm high on the Bucks this year. I think they're top 4 in the East. Prediction number 4, I think Jamal Mosley will be fired after the season. I just don't think they're as good as they perceive themselves to be. And I think they need another coach to take them to the contender level. And in prediction number 5, I am going to say that the biggest name traded this year, I know the obvious answer is Lauri Markkanen, which is a good one. But there's a couple other guys that jump out to me. So Lauri Markkanen's a good one, but most surprising player traded, this might come as a surprise, I think Derek White's going to get traded from Boston. I just don't think they're going to be good enough. And I think that a team like Houston could really use him. Or maybe Golden State. But yeah, there's a couple other ones that are obviously could be traded kind of guys. I think that maybe from a fit standpoint, I could see Wendell Carter Jr. getting dealt maybe to the Lakers. And the Lakers can send them back. Dalton Connect or Jake LaRavia in the deal or something like that. So that's another random trade for you as well. All right. We do have times for some betting stuff. So what I'm going to do is go through the over-unders division odds, title odds, and who has value. All right. Let's start with the finals. OKC is a 2-1 favorite to win it all. Cleveland plus 650, Denver 7-1, Knicks 11, Clippers and Rockets 18, and the Lakers for some reason. Minnesota, Orlando 20, Atlanta's 27, Golden State 30, and it drops. I think the value is obviously on Minnesota at 20. Like, they should be ahead of the two LA teams and the Rockets. Because Vegas is obsessed with these aging stars. And there's value on Golden State also. And I think those three teams with those aging stars, like LeBron and KD and Harden and Kawhi, should be closer to the other team with the aging star and Stephen Curry on this list, right? So kind of Golden State has a little bit of value, and obviously Minnesota has some value. And then Denver at 7-1, I think, is a good bet as well. All right, regular season MVP. SJ's plus 160. Jokic 3-1. Doncic 4-1. Giannis and Wemby 12-1. Ants 25, and then it drops. I think there's value on a couple guys that are 100-1. Brunson, Mitchell, and Banchero are all 100-1. They all have value. Not for nothing, but I do think Giannis is overvalued a little bit at 12. I would have liked it better if it was over 12. And I think obviously Victor's overvalued because everybody's obsessed with him. I mean, I love him. He's great, but he shouldn't be 12-1 for MVP. He's always hurt. Ant has value at 25. I don't understand why Cade's 70 and Mitch or Brunson or Banchero are all 100. Steph at 150 is actually pretty good. Where's LeBron? I know Luka's 4-1. Devin Booker 250-1 if the Suns were better than expected. Same for Ja at 300. That's pretty good. Kawhi at 500-1. James Harden 600-1. LeBron's 1,000-1 to win MVP. That's because of the injury. But that's just absurd. Defensive player of the year, I picked Wembanyama. He's minus 185. There's a favorite. He has a minus. There's three things. He has a minus. Chet's plus 650. Amen Thompson, Evan Mobley 15-1. AD's 18-1. Dyson Daniels is 22-1. Draymond's 25-1. Where is Gobert? 100-1. That's crazy. I mean, is he starting the year hurt? No. Why is he 100-1 for Depoy? Triple J at 60 is really good. I like Draymond at 25-1 a little bit, but not as much as those other two. Triple J and Rudy. Evan Mobley 15-1's good as well. Rookie of the year, Cooper Flag's a minus 220 favorite. Ace Bailey's 9-1. Trey Johnson's 10. Dylan Harper's 13. VJ Edgecombe's 14. Con Kneppel's 22, and it drops. I think Kneppel at 22 and VJ at 14 are good. I don't think Dylan Harper will get the opportunity. Maybe Ace. Maybe Hanson Yang has some value at 75-1. A lot of people like him. Most improved player, Amen Thompson of the Rockets is a plus 850 favorite. Josh Giddey's 12-1. He was my pick a couple years ago. A couple Pacer guys, and Benedict Mathurin at 14 and Andrew Nemhard at 15. Denny Avdija is 16, as well as his teammate Shaden Sharp. And the Bulls, Matas Buzelis is 16-1. Austin Thompson's 19. Nikola Jovic is 25, then it drops. My pick, it was 50-1. That's Brandon Miller. Jalen Johnson's 50. I think that's a good one. I think Michael Porter's going to be on another team next year. My runner-up for most improved was who? Jaden Ivey of the Pistons. But I don't think he's going to be eligible for awards then if he's not on the list. Oh yeah, he's gonna miss 4 weeks, and that's a good chunk of games. But I didn't realize that his teammate Jalen Duren is 75-1. His other teammate, Oscar Thompson, 19. You know what? I'm gonna change my runner-up for most improved. Instead of Jaden Ivey, I'm gonna go with his teammate Oscar Thompson. Because I do think it's gonna be a Piston. It has to be a Piston. To be improved. Sixth man of the year, Nas Reed's a plus 950 favorite, and DeAndre Hunter's 11-1, so is Josh Hart. Tari Easton and Fernie Simons, John Collins, 13-1. Onyeka Okongwu, Malik Monk, they're at 20. 25-1 Bobby Portis, PJ Washington, Jonathan Kuminga. And then it drops my guy's Colin Sexton for this award. Of the Hornets, he's 75-1. And my second place is Luke Kennard. He's also 75-1. NBA Clutch Player of the Year, Jalen Brunson's a plus 850 favorite. That was my pick. Anthony Edwards and Kevin Durant is 9-1. Luka and Jokic are 10. Curry, De'Aaron Fox, Trae Young is 15. Cade's 20. Garland's 25. My runner-up was SGA. He's 35-1. Coach of the Year, the favorite is Jamal Mosley of the Magic at 6-1. Quinn Snyder's plus 650. JB Bickerstaff and Mike Brown are each 10-1. Ime Udoka, Ty Lue, Nick Nurse, each 15-1. So is Joe Mazzulla. 22-1, David Adelman, JJ Redick, Mitch Johnson. That would have been a good one. Darko Rajkovic and Eric Spoelstra. 25-1, Steve Kerr, Mark Daniel, and Rick Carlisle. My pick was Mike Brown. He's 10-1. Runner-up, Charles Lee. What are his odds? 60-1. I like him as the runner-up. I think they're going to be unexpectedly good. And the NBA Cup we didn't even get to in these predictions, but that's just whatever. To make the playoffs, yes and no's. What's the Boston Celtics no? Plus 134. Indiana no. Oh, minus 182. They don't like Indiana. What is Charlotte's yes? Plus 630. But I have them in the play-in, so it has to be top 8. How about Charlotte into the play-in? I want to get to that. What is the Spurs playoffs? Minus 158. A lot of people like them. Toronto's yes is I love Toronto. No, minus 114. That's good. What is Sixers yes? Minus 230. Oh, that's a little rich. What is Lakers? Yes, no. Minus 360, plus 250. Clippers is minus 600, plus 370s, no. Golden State, yes, no. Golden State's minus 420, no's plus 270. What about the Mavs? Yes, minus 108, no, minus 122. I'd stay away from that one. I have them in the play-in. What about the Bulls? Yes, plus 280, no, minus 420. The Hawks is yes, is minus 550 to no's plus 350. Be the 1 seed in the East. Cleveland's plus 110. The Knicks, my team, 3-1. How about the 8 seed in the East? What's Miami? 7-1. So, why is Cleveland favored to be the 1 seed and the 2 seed? Make sense of that. And Orlando's favored to be 3-4. That makes no sense. What's Milwaukee is the 4 seed? 8-1. That's pretty good. What about the 3 seed for Milwaukee? 10-1. Same as Philly. How about the Charlotte to be the 8 seed? Oh, that's the West. I have Dallas in the prediction things. That's plus 650. The Lakers 7 seed is 6-1. So they're kind of favored to be the 7 seed. Golden State is the 6 seed is plus 600 as well. Minnesota 3 seed plus 650. OKC's minus 220 favorite to be the 1 seed. How about Knicks to win the East? Plus 370. Denver to win the West is plus 410. Division winners, Knicks minus 230, Philly 5-1, Boston plus 750, Toronto's 10, Brooklyn's 250. I mean, there could be some value on Philly if Embiid's just a top 5 player, MVP candidate. And then the Knicks had some injuries and stuff. Central Division, Cleveland's minus 380, Pistons plus 650, Milwaukee's 10-1, Indy 35, Bulls 70. Bucks 10-1's a good one. If Giannis just has like the FU season. Northwest Division, OKC minus 310, Denver plus 410, Minnesota's 14, Portland 225, Utah's 250. Minnesota has value of 14-1 if things go really wrong for OKC and there's injuries. Pacific, Clippers plus 130, Golden State 1, Lakers plus 250, Sacramento 33-1, Phoenix 80-1. Why is Phoenix and Sacramento like in opposite spots? They should be closer to each other than Sacramento closer to the front. I don't think. I mean, maybe Golden State at 2-1 a little bit. Southeast, Orlando minus 155, Atlanta plus 175, Miami 11-1, Charlotte 60-1, Wizards 250-1. I mean, Charlotte, if Brandon Miller makes the leap that I think he can make, I think has some value. In Southwest, Houston minus 195, San Antonio plus 470, Mavs 7-1, Grizz 10-1, New Orleans 45-1. Dallas at 7-1, I think has some value. And then the over-unders, Atlanta 46.5, slight under. Boston 41.5, under. It shows Bill Simmons' selection for the Brooklyn Nets. 95.5, under. I have them at 18. Charlotte, 27.5, over. Lock. Bulls, 33.5, over. Cleveland, 57.5. I have them slight under. I think 56 is good enough. Mavericks, 41.5, slight over. Nuggets, 53.5, way over. Pistons, 45.5, over. Golden State, 48.5, slight under. Rockets, 52.5, under. Pacers, 36.5, under. Clippers, 49.5, slight under. I don't think that's a 50-win team. Lakers, 46.5, under. Grizz, 39.5, slant under. Miami, 38.5, over. Heat culture. Bucks, 43.5, over. Minnesota, 49.5, way over. I love that one. That's my favorite one so far. New Orleans, 31.5, slight over. Knicks, 53.5, way over, baby. Thunder, 63.5, slight over. Orlando, 50.5, slight under. Sixers, 42.5, slight over. Suns, 30.5, under. Portland, 35.5, under. Kings, 34.5, under. I think they're going to be bad. Spurs, 43.5, under. But slight under. Toronto, 40.5. That's way too high, under. Jazz, 19.5, under. And Wizards, 20.5, over. Only because I think they win a couple games with some vets. All right, so there you have it for the, oh, one more to make the play-in. I want to see Charlotte to make the play-in. Plus 420. I like that. And then the Lakers in the West, plus 135 to make the play-in. Then Memphis, plus 110 to make the play-in's a good one as well. So there you have it. The 2025-26 NBA season prediction show. We're going to look back on this and see how we did eventually.